Hey everyone, welcome to episode 3 of Qore. I'm your host, Veronica Belmont, and for this episode, we have traveled all over the map. We were in Phoenix, Arizona, where it was about 106 degrees. And then we were in Austin, Texas, where it was about 97 or so. I like to think that evil Veronica has like a handlebar mustache.
That'll work.
And now I'm here in beautiful Santa Monica. We're at 75, and I am just happy being right where I am. The superheroes are in full effect this month with DC Universe Online and Lego Batman. And then we take you into the driver's seat with Baja Edge of Control. And finally, our new correspondent, see what I did there, Audrey Cleo is here to tell us all about NBA 09 The Inside. So sit back and enjoy. I'm gonna go get a smoothie. I'll see you on the inside. Now with Chris Kao, who's the studio creative director on the game, of course, and SOE has had a history with MMOs. I mean, we've got Star Wars Galaxies, EverQuest 1 and 2, and there's been, mixed reactions within the MMO world. I mean, there's fans that are in love with the titles, but then at the same time, you're going up against the 800-pound gorilla in the room, that being World of Warcraft, of course. What lessons have you guys learned from that past history, and how do you plan on bringing in DCUO into the world and making it a success?
Well, the two biggest lessons for us are serve the license, serve the player, right? You've got to deliver that experience players are expecting from the world that they love, and you have to give it to them and customize it to them. That's why we are working with Jim Lee and with DC to make sure we're getting it right, and we're showing it off at Comic-Con to the fans, who are the ones who are going to pay for it, and those are the ones we're serving, so that's what we've learned.
What kind of method of payment are you guys thinking of for the game? Are you going to have a monthly kind of fee, a subscription-based formula, or have you not decided that yet?
Yeah, right now we haven't really decided because we are the first one that's console and PC with this license. So instead we're going to look and say, hey, what do console gamers like to pay? How do they do it? And see where it goes from there. The pace of gameplay and the action-oriented nature of it, typically you don't see that in an MMO. Well, we've brought it to the forefront. You're throwing guys around, you're picking up buses, and it's just a superhero action game that you get to play with your friends for months.
So tell me about Jim Lee's involvement in the game. I mean, he's obviously a superstar in the graphic novel world.
Right. He's the executive creative director on the project, so it's his vision that we're realizing the DC Universe. In fact, his studio, Wildstorm, is drawing all the concepts for the game. And Jim can't help himself. He draws stuff from time to time, too.
Can we go take a closer look at some of the concept art you've got on the wall out there?
Sure, no problem. Let's do it.
All right.
And here it is.
Whoa.
The vision of Jim Lee in full living color. This is a concept wall. We have thousands of concepts from him and his studio.
That's amazing. So all this stuff is going into the game?
Yeah, and it's of course stuff that we had to put in the game, right? You have the Monarch Playing Card Company, you have Wayne Manor. Every place that a player or a fan is going to want to go, Jim has pre-visualized and drawn up for us, and now we can make it in 3D.
That's amazing. So has anyone seen these, or is this
No, these are, you're the first one allowed in, but there are thousands of these like we have, like I said, and Jim is very much into it. The detail is incredible if you look at it. They don't just try to portray a building, right? I mean, this is what you've seen in the comics. Here's Toxic Acres, Mad Hatter's Mansion. I mean, these are places people have seen in the comics for years, but now they get to experience them firsthand.
And in case you didn't know, Wayne Manor is a very fancy Baroque mansion.
Very fancy, and apparently it's got, all these little accoutrements.
Excellent. Well, the game looks freaking awesome right now, and you can really see how his drawings are coming to life.
And of course, with Jim drawing it, we know it's right.
Well, thank you so much for showing us the game.
Thanks a lot.
This is absolutely incredible.
Cool.
We're here today to talk about a game that I'm very excited about looking at, and that's DC Universe Online, and I'm here with Jens Andersen, who's the creative director of the game.
Hi.
And so, obviously, not everyone's going to be able to run around and play as Batman or Robin or Superman. So how are you going to create a character, and what's the gameplay like?
Well, you're going to be able to create your own original character that's going to be part of the DC Universe, and you're going to be able to interact with all these iconics like Batman and Superman and stuff like that. So you'll be able to sort of be their equal in the game rather than their sidekick or be them. So you're an individual.
But you can kick their butt later if you have to.
if you're able. our city is more alive. Civilians will be doing things that you'd expect them to do, going to work, grabbing lunch. There's not just going to be, mobs or monsters camped out all over the place. It'll look like a real city where things happen and people react.
So you could just fly in and kind of ruin their afternoon.
You could if you were a villain, but we're not pigeonholing you into any one role. We're going to allow you to sort of change it up depending on what you want to play that night. We have a loadout system that allows you to sort of load in your tanking abilities, or you can load in your support abilities or your DPS abilities. Doesn't really matter. It's sort of up to you and your group as to how you want to play. You start off being a villain or a hero at character creation, but we do have some systems in play that are going to allow you to sort of walk the line, kind of like Batman does a little bit, where he's a hero, but not one that you really kind of probably want to meet in a dark alley.
So what happens if someone makes a character named like Batman-O?
That's when
That's what I would name my character, Batman-O.
I think that's when the name police kind of show up and name you something appropriate at that point.
Is there a traditional kind of quest line series that you go through, or is it just an open world where you happen to find stuff to do?
Well, it's actually both. We have an open world that has a lot of like what we call base content, and then we have cases and capers. Heroes work on cases and villains work on capers. So you're going to be able to find directed content that has more of a storyline to it than what you just find patrolling the city, waiting for that poor person to cry out in the alley.
And through those cases, you'll eventually encounter some of the bigger heroes? Like
oh, definitely. Definitely. They'll actually be giving you some of these cases. You'll be working with them. You'll be working alongside of them. You'll be going up against them. So you'll have a lot of interaction with the iconic characters.
So what's the end game? What are you trying to ultimately achieve in the game?
Well, when you reach the end game, you're really dealing with our Save the World concept, which is basically hotspots are kind of popping up all over the globe, which you are going and taking care of. There's a lot of areas, let's say a Starlab satellite crashes in the Gobi Desert. You're going to need to go and get that technology back before it falls into the wrong hands.
Is that kind of a rating thing? Like, are you doing it with a lot of other people, or is it just more of a solo deal?
You can do it with a lot of other people, but our rating aspect really takes place in our own locales. So like in Star Labs or Arkham Asylum or something like that, you'll be able to go in there with a bunch of friends and take on a much more challenging encounter with the iconic characters.
Do you plan on having voice chat or anything initiated within
Yes.
the UI?
Yes, absolutely.
People will be able to talk. I'm over here at the corner of Gotham and Metropolis.
Yeah, Captain Twinkletoes, where are you? We're on the roof.
Hey everyone, we're at the intersection of film and video games, also known as the Warner Brothers Studio Lot, to talk about Lego Batman, a much anticipated title from TT Games. And before I decide to take a little tour and find some famous people, I think we should have a little chat with Jonathan Smith, one of the head programmers on the game. Oh, hold on, wait, I'm coming. Find some famous people, yeah. Bye. I'll find you, Christian Bale. This is Jonathan Smith, head of production at TT Games, and we're here talking about Lego Batman, of course, which I'm very excited about seeing.
Thank you.
And of course, Dark Knight came out, everyone's got Batman fever, but the game is based on all different Batmans.
That's right. Batman's been a great hero for decades now, and across comics and television and cartoons and all kinds of things. And what we've done in Lego Batman is to bring them all together, to distill the essence of Batman and all the bad guys in Gotham City into one game.
So a lot of video games these days are using motion capture and that kind of technology to make their figures seem more lifelike. What kind of technology are you guys using to bring basically Lego blocks seem realistic?
Sure. Our technology is the individual talent and brilliance of our animators. Everything's done by hand. And they bring the characters to life with their quirks and personalities and make them seem as alive as they do, and we are very lucky to have them working with us. For Lego Batman, we've got a host of new features to put into the game to make it a really new experience.
So I heard it's more fighting. It's not as much. There's a lot more fighting in this one.
Batman's the world's greatest detective, and he's one of the world's greatest fighters. So making hand-to-hand combat and facing off with any enemies that you meet in the game, a new experience for Lego games, was really part of what we tried to do right from the start.
What characters from the Batman past should we expect to see?
Oh, everyone you can expect you will find in Lego Batman. All the way from the heroes like Batman and Robin through a whole range of villains. Clayface, Two-Face, the Joker, Penguin, everyone you can expect and imagine. And you'll be able to play all those characters, take control of the good guys and the bad guys.
What's the gameplay like? Is it more fighting or is it more questing?
Sure, well, it's a romp. It's a romp of action, full of fighting and discovery and surprise. So you'll use abilities and character technologies to unlock puzzles, but you'll also have a lot of face-to-face, fist-to-fist action and fighting, plus loads of gadgets and weapons like the Batarang and the special abilities of the villains.
The gadgets are my favorite part, for sure.
Good.
It was so freaking hot outside that Jonathan was nice enough to let us come inside the Batcave to see Lego Batman. So what are you doing here?
I'm cleaning up the streets of Gotham City as Batman and my good friend Robin here, kicking these bad guys to show them the error of their ways, using all my new fighting moves, using my Batarang there to smash things up in the environment.
So is it pretty much just an open world kind of play?
No, not at all. No, the levels are really structured
Okay.
and based around the story and the narrative and the characters you're going to meet. Just going to take out these guys, showing you some of the new. I can pick guys up here, I can throw them around, or I can pick them up and walk with them.
So can you show me some of the gadgets?
Sure. So if I just go over
We
here.
saw the Batarang.
That's right. We've seen the Batarang. We've seen some fighting. Here's a little bit more fighting. Some cool new moves there. And then what I'm going to do is build a new suit. So here, I'm going to build a new suit for Robin, which is going to give him his magnet boots ability. There it is. So I'll switch to be Robin. And now, as he stomps around, he's got magnetic boots.
So you can walk up walls.
He can actually walk up this metal object here, this ventilation shaft. Beware, bad guy. He was too scared. Now Robin's up high, he can lower the ladder, which means that Batman.
So Batman will just continue to play.
Oh, absolutely. When you are only playing as a single character, a single player, the game takes control of the other character.
Why did you decide to go with Batman as opposed to any other franchise that's out there?
Because he's the world's greatest detective, and Gotham City is a wonderful place to play in. We love the colourful villains, we love all the cool action, and we were big fans.
Well, I know you've got a plane to catch back to the UK,
yeah.
so I'll let you keep working on the game because I know your time is very short, but I'm going to head back to the lot and keep looking for my Batman, Christian Bale.
Well, good luck with that.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
with Rob Reinard, who is a game designer at 2XL. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for coming out.
So with the multitude of racing games out there, how is Baja going to be different?
Well, Baja is really the game that I've been wanting to make since going back to the days that we made ATV Off-Road Fury. We'd made bikes and quad games for the longest time, and I've really wanted to tackle the four-wheel driving market for the long time and get in there and compete with the likes of Gran Turismo and Forza. Well, much like Gran Turismo, we wanted to have the broadest range of vehicles, from little 80 horsepower Volkswagens all the way up through 800 horsepower trophy trucks, and everything in between. We have four-wheel drive Jeeps, we have Class 10 open-wheel buggies, mini trucks, full-size trucks, but again, the king of off-road is the trophy truck. You can't beat 800 horsepower and 40 inches of suspension travel.
Wait, so you can get a Volkswagen Bug driving on this kind of terrain and that's safe?
Absolutely. I mean, that's the heart and soul of the Baja 1000. Anybody who can actually drive 1,000 miles in a vehicle with 6 inches of suspension travel, they have my respect.
So what are the different kinds of racing styles that you can do?
There's 5 different types. We have circuit racing, which is just traditional. If it was a core type race, it'd be called short course. And then we have rallies and Baja races, and rallies are like 12 to 15 minute, traditional A to B to C to D multi-stage rally races. But then our Baja races, our simulation of the Baja 1000 is about a 1,000 mile race in real life. We simulate about 300 miles of that. So it's a game where you actually have to drive for 3 to 4 hours without ever seeing the same piece of terrain twice.
Wait, so in the game you're driving for 3 or 4 hours?
You absolutely are.
That's insane. Can you like pause and go take a pee break?
Yeah, and even better yet, online, because like your phone's gonna ring or you gotta go to the bathroom and make a sandwich. You can hand your vehicle off to an AI online. So
that's so cool.
When up to 10 of you are racing together, other people in the race won't even know that you stepped out to make a sandwich before you come back.
What if the AI screws everything up for you?
Well, we actually designed the AI to not drive very competitively because we didn't want everybody starting a race, handing off the AI, and just coming back later to see who duked it out and won. So
yeah, it's kind of like car camping in a sense. Like you just kind of put the AI on and then take off and go make a sandwich.
Exactly, but in such a
don't-
long
you can't do
race,
that.
it was just a practical experience, to let people be able to hand it off for a minute and go do what they need to do.
Well, can I try?
Absolutely, hop in.
So what am I driving right now?
So you're in one of the trophy trucks, the FabTech truck, and you're driving one of the stages from the Baja 1000. If you were to finish this whole race and not manage to run over any bunnies during the race, it would take you about 3 hours, and you'd drive a little over 300 miles.
So this is really not like driving on flat ground. Like I can just be driving straight and it'll throw me off the edge all of a sudden.
That's completely true. One of the great things about the Baja experience is it's hundreds of miles of having to read unique terrain and deal with it as you see it. If you drive on courses like Laguna Seca, a normal flat track racetrack, you go round and round and the track is perfectly flat and it's just a matter of trying to do the exact same turns perfectly every time. But real desert racing is all about going really fast, reading the terrain, trying not to break your vehicle, and dealing with everything the terrain throws at you.
Jeez, the panorama mode is pretty intense too. How did you set that up?
It's a system link game where basically you're just running on the LAN. It takes 3 PlayStations. We network them together, and then we program the cameras to look 45 degrees left and right. You can dial them in for your TV settings, and once you get it, you get a full 180-degree wraparound view.
So not everyone obviously is going to have 3 PS3s and a panoramic view, but even in normal mode, which I saw earlier, it looks incredible.
Yeah,
Oh!
lots of guys like to do LAN parties and stuff. People tend to bring their consoles over along with their little TVs, so anytime you get a party going at a friend's house, you can just network the 3 together and try it for yourself.
I'm not so bad if I go painfully slow. But that's not typically how you win races, is it?
Yeah, but it's the idea of the game. Start slow and learn to go fast.
When's the game coming out?
So according to plan, we'll be on shelves second week of September.
Excellent. Well, I gotta find my helicopter. Oh no! This is Greg, owner and driver of this fine vehicle that we've got here. And now, I'm no mechanic, but I'm assuming you've put a little bit of work into this guy.
Absolutely. Matter of fact, what you're holding there is like a stock Ford shock that you'd see on a pickup truck. And for the race trucks, we actually use these 4-inch dirt logic bypass shocks.
Whoa.
And you can see, you know, a lot of wheel travel, so we need that to go over the 3-foot bumps that we see in off-road racing.
This thing looks fragile by comparison.
Now, you never go over much more than a speed bump in an average car, but you know, we're going over very harsh terrain in the race truck.
Right, and how many hours of manpower goes into getting one of these trucks ready for a race?
Wow, between races, depending on the distance, anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500 man hours. You know, a lot of preparation. Really, the races are won here in the shop, and it's luck when you get to the track.
And a lot of money too, I bet.
Sometimes it's a lot of money, yeah.
Can I take a look inside?
Yeah, hop in, let's check it out.
Awesome. Wait, what do I do?
Just put your foot right here and climb on just like a ladder.
Like a ladder, just like a ladder. Ooh. Wow, wow. What is all this stuff in here?
Well, this is mostly the safety equipment, the roll cage around you, and the window nets to help keep your arms from coming out when you do roll it, because usually it's not if, it's when and how bad.
And you've rolled quite a bit, I assume?
I've done it a couple times. I'm not proud of it, but if you're pushing hard and you're really racing hard, you're going to tip it over once in a while.
Why is the wheel disconnected?
So you can get out in a hurry.
Oh, I get it. Very cool. And what are these controls?
That's all the power for the engine to start it up, and the shifter, and the race radio so we can communicate with our pit crew when we're out in the middle of nowhere.
Is there a CD changer in the back?
No, no CD
No,
changer.
that would be a little too much skipping, I'm assuming, with all the bouncing.
Yep, too much distractions.
All right. Well, I think I'm ready to tear Mother Nature a new one. I think I've learned everything I need to know.
Perfect.
Thank you very much, Greg.
My pleasure.
All right, let's see what this Baja thing is all about. Holy crap! So what have you guys done to make this awesome game even awesomer?
Well, Audrey, you know, what we did was we really wanted to listen to what everybody said about our game. We wanted to listen to the feedback that we were getting from our fans. And, you know, there are a few areas that really stuck out to us. One thing was improving how our AI takes advantage of immediate opportunities. So that means if there's a good three-point shooter spotted up behind the three-point line, the AI is going to work hard to get him the ball so that he can knock down the shot. You know, if you get a good blocker like Kevin Garnett next to you know, the offensive guy, he's going to tend to intimidate that guy. He's going to make it harder for you to time your shot around the basket, and he'll make it harder for you to score generally without just swatting everything into the eighth row every time, which is kind of what we did in the past sometimes.
So this year we really wanted to focus on just great content, new modes for the game. And so we've accomplished that with a couple in particular. Franchise mode being one. Another big mode that we've done is the life, and this is one that really differentiates us from other basketball projects. This is one where we tell a story both with in-game scenes as well as off-the-court scenes, so that it's all about players developing.
What we gonna do? We gonna win. What we gonna do? We win. What we gonna do? What we gonna do?
It allows you to play not just a game or a particular season, but really get attached to characters that you can both use that exist in the NBA, also through our progression mode. Create your own characters to, you know, raise them up from a guy just starting out in the NBA to a seasoned veteran to hopefully an all-star.
How I can do my job to the best of its ability to perfect this team.
Any improvements in animation and anything along those lines? Because I know that was something that you wanted to improve upon in the last version.
Something that I'm really excited about for this year is how we're doing our dunks and our layups. So last year we had a total of 216 dunk and layup animations in the game. This year we have 450 dunk and layup animations in the game. So almost, actually more than double what we had last year.
So what are your plans for downloadable content?
So something that we're going to continue this year and improve upon is something we've done the last couple of years called Games of the Week. This is free downloadable content that takes place every single week of the NBA season and through the playoffs into the finals.
And what about the game on other platforms, PS2 and PSP?
In addition to the PS3, we have NBA 09 The Inside on the PS2, and we have a version of NBA 09 The Inside on the PlayStation Portable.
That's what I'm saying.
Now, you told me you guys go out there and research on the court. Do you think it really helped you in improving this game?
Yeah, I really do. You know, I have spent countless hours out there on the court with many of my office mates.
If we focus solely on our playing skills, ooh.
Some of us are a little bit more talented than others.
Our friend over there is on crutches now, and I'm guessing that is from a very intense research-oriented game.
Yeah, so, you know, capping the knees is what we call
I think that's a technical foul.
it. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. That's it.
Well, without our on-the-court research, we wouldn't have been able to mocap a faceplant.
The life is a really, really unique part of this game, and part of any hoop game, actually. It really stands out. It offers such a different way of playing. What have you guys improved this time?
One major thing that we improved this year is instead of giving you one story, we gave you three. That's to give us more variety. You get to choose any position now, as opposed to just one point guard. One thing that we wanted to make unique with the three different stories is starting these guys off at three different starting points in the D-League. So in story one, you get to jump off from the showcase, the D-League showcase, which is a 4-day tournament, which is the D-Leaguers' calling card to make it up to the NBA. Story two, you start out in the D-League All-Star game. In story three, you start out in the D-League Finals. So we wanted to give you a wider experience, not just the NBA experience. We wanted to get you starting at the D-League, going all the way to the NBA Finals.
Besides just the positions, is there anything that differentiates these stories? What's the key difference?
The key difference is the gameplay. The gameplay is directly reflected upon the position that you choose. So, for example, point guard, he's the floor general. He makes all the decisions on the floor. There's more assists, there's more decision making. The shooting guard small forward story, which is story two, that's more the big shots, the more excitement, the game winners, and some of the stories off the court reflect that as well. You get to make your own commercial. You get to have a party in a club.
Now tell me a little bit more about this off the court aspect to it.
Well, that's something that we've banked on quite a bit on the live. We wanted to bring the end user a little bit closer to the NBA lifestyle. It's not just pay your ticket and go into the arena and see your favorite players.
I give you and Mom courtside seats all season long, front side.
One of the criticisms of the life mode in the previous version is that some of the challenges were a little bit inconsistent. Some you could breeze right through, and some doubly hard to get through. What, if any, headway have you made in that?
Yeah, well, we made big headway in that, and taking criticism directly and through focus testing, white paper tests. The ramp up is a lot more consistent now. So basically, what you see in the scenes is directly reflected in the gameplay that you play.
Was that the biggest criticism?
Well, that was one of the criticisms. Another is load times. One thing that we have differently is we front-loaded a lot of the stuff. So instead of seeing a scene, then load, and then get into the gameplay, you go into gameplay right after the scene.
So there's
seamless.
no hiccuping. There's no kind of waiting and being like, okay,
no.
I'm just trying to get.
So when you see a scene, you'll directly get into the gameplay right after.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Is there anything else new and exciting that you want to tell me about the life mode?
Well, the fact that it's on PS3, it's the graphics are insane. The lighting's much better. Everything all about it is much better. There's a lot more ambient effects to bring the scenes more alive.
No doubt. Let's go. Sit this. Let's go.
Well, Brandon, it looks like a lot of fun, and for some people, probably the closest they're ever going to get to a baller lifestyle. So I want to thank you for that, and looking forward to checking it out.
All right, thank you.
I've seen the blood and dirt on their faces. I've seen young boys turned into soldiers. I've seen men ripped apart by bullets. I can't forget these things I've seen. And so I ask myself, take me! How much more can one man take?
Mortars! Get everybody up! Hit that empty hard! There's no telling when the Colonel will show up at the 506. You can push them back until he does. On 3! 3! There's 1,000 people that need our help right now. Fire on them! I'll be sending the rest of your friends your way real soon.